Think about that piece of paper in your pocket, or those digital numbers on your banking app. On their own, they can't feed you, nor can they protect you from the cold. They actually have no intrinsic value. Yet they are the sole reason we wake up at the crack of dawn to work for hours, and the reason empires fall and new ones are built. Welcome to the story of the greatest invention in human history: money. Thousands of years before money, it is believed the system was simply barter. If you had extra wheat and needed a pair of shoes, you would go and find a shoemaker. Sounds like a great system, right? No. Economists have a name for this: the double coincidence of wants. Let's say you found the shoemaker, but the shoemaker doesn't need wheat. He needs an axe. Now you have to find an axe maker with your wheat, hope he wants wheat, and then take that axe back to the shoemaker. But let's be honest, this system was far too clumsy and slow to build a large society. According to anthropologists, a pure barter economy between neighbors rarely, if ever, existed in history. Instead of instantaneous trades, humans found a much more powerful mechanism: credit and debt. If you needed your neighbor's wheat, you didn't have to give him shoes right then. You just took the wheat, and your neighbor knew you owed him. It was an invisible ledger of favors. So, contrary to popular belief, humanity didn't invent money directly. First, they invented a trust system and the concept of the IOU. However, when villages grew into cities and trade networks expanded, a massive problem arose. How could you trust a complete stranger who came from hundreds of miles away? That invisible mental ledger didn't work anymore. There was a need for a physical medium that everyone could trust. And at that point, humans created commodity money. In different parts of the world, different objects that held intrinsic value began to act as money. Cowrie shells along the coasts of Africa, Asia, and Oceania. Bales of grain in ancient times. It is even widely believed that Roman soldiers were partially paid in salt, and that the root of the English word salary likely comes from this exact practice. However, these early forms of money had devastating disadvantages. If you calculate your wealth in cows, a plague could wipe out all your money. If you use salt, your entire fortune could literally melt away in a heavy rainstorm. Humanity needed something easy to carry, non-perishable, able to withstand the test of time, easily divisible, and most importantly, rare. The answer was gleaming in the dark depths of the earth: metals. For centuries, metals were used by weighing them out. But the real revolution happened in the 7th century BC in western Anatolia, the Lydians. But why did the first standardized coin emerge in Lydia rather than in Egypt or Babylon? It was no coincidence. First, geography. Lydia was the ultimate crossroad of trade between the riches of the East and the markets of the West. With goods constantly changing hands, they desperately needed a fast payment system. Second, resources. The rivers flowing through their capital, Sardis, were literally teeming with electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver. And third, strong state authority. Lydian kings equalized the weight of the metal and stamped it with their own seal, a roaring lion figure. This seal was the first state guarantee in history. You don't need to measure the weight and purity of this coin every time. I, the king, vouch for it. This simple standardization revolutionized trade. People no longer wasted time weighing. They just counted the coins. Marketplaces grew into bustling cities. But soon enough, a new problem emerged. Trade grew so massively that carrying these pieces of metal across continents became a logistical nightmare. For nearly 2,000 years, coins dominated global trade. Kingdoms rose and fell, but metal remained money. Then, in China, a radically different idea emerged. You are in 11th century China. You're a successful merchant, and you need to make a massive payment in another city. The problem is, the Chinese government is minting heavy iron and copper coins instead of gold or silver. For a big transaction, you literally have to carry tons of money. It's a sitting duck for highway robbers. They had to find a solution to this. Merchants started leaving their heavy coins with trusted brokers or state-owned depositories. In return, they were given a paper receipt. The bearer of this paper can claim this amount of coins. Initially, this was just a logistical convenience. But then, something extraordinary happened. When buying and selling goods, instead of going to the depositories and hauling out heavy iron, people just started handing these paper receipts directly to one another. And this right here was one of the greatest turning points in history. This is the moment money became pure trust. In the past, the gold or silver coin itself was the value. Now the paper in your hand had absolutely no value. It merely represented the value. This new paper money system allowed humanity to build a global network. We could trade with people we didn't know simply by trusting the system behind that paper. It was this abstract trust that financed the Industrial Revolution, modern science, and skyscrapers. But money turning into pure trust came with a very dark price. Governments soon discovered a dangerous secret. If the value of money was simply ink on paper and people's belief in it, they could print more paper than they had gold in the vault. Money became a controllable illusion. Printing unbacked money created hyperinflation. Just because politicians couldn't stop the printing presses, a lifetime of people's hard-earned savings could become worth less than toilet paper, literally overnight. In the era of commodities, no one could hoard thousands of times more wheat than they needed, because it would rot. But immortal, abstract money birthed the desire for limitless hoarding, colossal fortunes, and modern chasms of inequality. Today, more than 90% of the world's money doesn't even physically exist. It isn't in our wallets. It's merely digital entries circulating through bank servers. We've come a very long way from the riverbed gold of the Lydians to the digital wallets on our smartphones. But the true essence of money has never changed. It is the greatest shared fiction of humanity. It only has value as long as we believe in it. Since that very first promise we made to each other, around the fires of primitive tribes, nothing has actually changed. We didn't just invent money, we invented trust at scale. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.